why don't you give me like actual advice? But it is rooted in science. Like that's all it can be. You... What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be more of an instructional video. What prompted me to do a video like this is that I was having a conversation with one of my friends who's into finance, and that's a space that I don't really know about. So I was just bouncing ideas off him, really trying to get a feel of what he knows, and just so that I can understand the basics. And from there, we shifted over to more of what I know, health and fitness, and I was explaining the basic concepts to him. So he was explaining the basic concepts of finance to me, and I was helping him out with some health and fitness questions that he wanted answers to. And he said something that really clicked for me, and he said that when I was drawing it out to him on the whiteboard, we were in a classroom, so there was a whiteboard behind us. He said that everything just made sense and that he was shocked that he's never seen this before. He might have heard it or have maybe referenced it from somebody else, but to see it all come together, that was something that really helped him, and it made sense. He had like an aha moment. And so I think that's what I want to emulate in this video, is just to essentially give him the same talk, give you guys the same talk that I gave him, and hopefully it clicks with you guys and you can kind of see how everything relates to each other. So we got the whiteboard here, and what we were talking about yesterday was just the basics of overall weight loss and what that really means. Where does that come from? He wanted to know specifically, he had a few questions about himself and how when he was busy over the summer and wasn't focusing on working out or eating right, how he essentially lost all of his muscle that he built, which he probably held on to a decent amount, but still lost a significant amount of muscle, and in the process also seemed to get heavier, putting on more body fat. So he wanted to know specifically like what contributes to this, and where does weight loss come from? Where does weight gain come from? How does it relate to muscle mass? How does it relate to fat loss, fat gain, anything like that? So I have the whiteboard here, and I told him that everything comes down to energy, right? So energy. And we know from the second law of thermodynamics that energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? So that means that it can only be transferred or transformed, okay? So when we think about energy and our bodies, the unit of energy is calories. And that's where people see calories in the store. You read a food label, there's calories on the label. And that's essentially just a measurement of how much energy is in that food. So if we want to relate this to weight loss or weight gain, essentially weight is just the amount of energy that you have in your body. So if we have more energy in our body, we're going to be heavier, right? So if referencing the second law of thermodynamics again, energy cannot be created or destroyed, that means there has to be a balancing of that equation. It's either one side or the other, right? So it's either you gain the energy or you lose the energy in some way. And the way we reference this is your calories in versus or equal to your calories out, okay? So calories in, calories out. And what does this mean, okay? So your calories in, there's only one thing that you can do that directly relates to this, and this is what you eat, what you drink, anything that you consume that has calories, that is your calories in. There's no way else for you to get calories from. There's no way else really for you to get energy. And a good point to note is that my friend, when I said this, he asked me, he was like, well, doesn't sleep give you energy? What about like resting, napping, things like that? And it's like, it gives you the perceived feeling of energy because you have recovered. So those tactics, sleep, meditation, relaxation, those are the way for your body to repair all the stress that it's gone under over the entire day. And it gives you the feeling of having more energy. And this is why also when you don't eat, you probably feel really bad because you don't have energy. Going back now to the energy for our bodies, what we hold, it really only just comes down to calories in versus calories out in the way that we consume it or we burn it. And then sleep plays into the burning of that calories. And then it repairs neurological function so that you have the perceived feeling of readiness, so your wakefulness once you get done sleeping. So for calories in, the only thing that goes into this is very easy, focusing on this side of the equation. It's just the amount of food or drinks, because drinks have calories other than water or possibly diet soda of some sort that has 0 calories. Food or drinks that you consume. So anything that you put into your mouth that has calories, except for water or other 0 calorie stuff, but mainly just water. Anything else that goes into your mouth, that is calories in, okay? So, very simple part of the equation. The calories out portion now. This is where it gets a little trickier, right? We can think of calories out broken down into about 4 main parts. One of those main parts, very simple to understand, exercise. Exercise. Okay? That makes sense. We're exercising, we're burning energy, we're moving. Awesome. Okay, so the second one then is going to be your basal metabolism. Okay, and what is basal metabolism? That is your body using energy just to exist. So if you woke up and you laid in bed the entire day and did absolutely nothing, you just breathed, that would burn calories. And believe it or not, it burns the most amount of calories, percentage-wise, in the entire day. So this equates to about like 60-ish, these numbers aren't set in stone, 60% of your daily calories that are expended are just from your basal metabolism. And why is this? Your body needs to function. It needs to stay alive. It needs energy to do these things, right? So to repair your organs, to make sure your organs are working, to blink, to move any sort of way, just to breathe. These things require energy, right? So that is your basal metabolism. The next thing is going to be NEAT. NEAT. And this stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And so NEAT is essentially just any kind of movement that you do that is not directly dedicated to exercise. So I'm talking right now. I'm moving my hands. I'm moving around a little bit. The more I move around, that's going to burn more calories, right? So if I do that throughout the day and I move more just by fidgeting or just by moving around, talking, standing requires more energy than sitting. These things are all going to burn more calories, burn more energy. It takes more energy to do those things. So you're burning it. That's what burning it means. You're using the energy to do stuff. So it's activities that are not directly exercise related, but they still burn calories. So what does this look like? It looks like if you work from home and you're sitting down all day, maybe try standing up. That'll burn more calories as opposed to just sitting down. I know some people even have some like walking treadmill desk at this point. If you can do that and you can function fine by walking and doing work, then by all means go for it. But essentially just moving more throughout the day. Just have more energy, essentially. Use more energy. So if you fidget more, you're more likely to burn more calories. Not more likely, you are. You are burning more calories, okay? So the last one then is going to be the thermic effect of food. And the thermic effect of food is essentially your body needs energy to break down the food that you eat. So while you're eating food, it's breaking it down. It goes into your stomach, it's chopping it up, it's breaking it down, it's going to absorb it. That takes energy. Everything takes energy. This is a very small portion of the calories you burn throughout the day. So really don't focus on trying to increase it that much. So in terms of the percentages, we said that 60% of the daily calories were getting burned from basal metabolism. Your NEAT's probably going to give you about another 10-ish%. Your thermic effect of food, maybe like another 5 to 10%. I'll just write 10 for the sake of numbers. Again, these numbers aren't set in stone. It's just guesses, just proportions, whatever. Some portion of your calories are burned from the thermic effect of food. Okay? And then exercise. And exercise, don't be fooled by a lot of these watches and smart gear. And they say like, oh, in a given workout, I burn like 1,200 calories. I guarantee you didn't. It's sad. I wish I burned 1,000 calories in a workout. All of those metrics on like the treadmill, on your Apple Watch, on all these things, they all overestimate it. Keep in mind, they're also taking into account if you didn't exercise. So if you have a workout window and you worked out for 2 hours, it's also taken into account the calories you burn just from your basal metabolism, right? Just the 2 hours, if you did nothing, you'd still probably burn a decent amount of calories just doing nothing, just existing. And then it adds on the exercise on top of it. Still, it overshoots the estimate, but that's just what it is. So you probably burn about like 30% of your total calories from exercise if you're working out pretty decently hard. So what does this look like? Probably like 300-400 calories for like an average weight session. If you're going for cardio, the more intense cardio for longer periods of time, again, it's just a function of like how intense you're going. If you're going more intense, you're using more energy. But usually if you're going more intense, you're going for a less amount of time. So it all evens out in the end. If you're going for a lower intensity, you're probably going for a longer period of time. So you just make up the calories there. So if you're doing cardio workout, I don't know, an hour of cardio, probably like 500 calories. So no matter what kind of exercise you're really doing, it's probably roughly around like 300 to 500 calories. So don't overestimate that. But also important to note, if you're saying to yourself, okay, I tracked my calories, I ate like 1,200 calories, and then it says on my Apple Watch that I exercised and I burned like 1,400 calories, how come I'm not losing weight? And it's like, there's two things. One, you're probably highly underestimating how much you actually ate. Nobody really knows how to track their food or knows what calories and serving sizes and portion sizes are. So you're probably not really eating 1,200 calories. Most people, if they eat 1,200 calories, they feel like shit. So you're probably eating a little bit more. And two, you're probably not even burning that much because you're taking into account, oh, well, during my workout, I burned like 1,500 calories and I'm still not losing weight. I probably only burned like actually 300, 400, 500 calories. So it's like 1,000 calorie difference there that we're not really accounting for. And it's not really your fault. I mean, maybe the tracking of the food might be, but like it is tough to do those things. And on top of it, you're just seeing what you see. So you're just being told that by your Apple Watch, I burned 1,000 calories. So I don't blame you for noticing that. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it works. So you can still use your Apple Watch if you really want to, just to track your calories, but they're not accurate. So it really just comes down to, if you're gaining weight, you have more calories coming in than going out. And why is this? If you have more energy, so calories, energy, being consumed, that energy cannot be created or destroyed, just transferred and transformed. And if you eat that energy and it's in your system now, and you're not burning it, you're not using it, there's no reason to use it, then it has to be transferred or transformed in some way, shape, or form. And in the body, that happens by storing it as body fat. And why does it store it as body fat? There's a good way I like to think about this. In ancient times, the body doesn't know when your next meal is. And think about it, like we all evolved from hundreds of thousands of years. We still have these instinctual mechanisms of our body. It still works the same way because it needed to. If we're out in the wilderness and we're trying to grab food, we're trying to hunt and gather, and we eat some food and we eat a lot, right? We found, I don't know, a harvest and we just ate a ton. All that energy, we're not expending it. We're not really expending it. So what does it do at that point? It's going to store it as body fat. So that way when we go out again and we don't know when our next meal is, we don't know when we're going to find another harvest, we can still go out and function. So even though we don't have energy coming in, we're not eating at that point, we can pull energy from body fat. That's what body fat is. Body fat is just stored energy for us to use in case we don't have food around. So that's why you can live if you don't eat for a day. If you fast, you just pull energy from body fat stores. That doesn't necessarily mean, oh, the best way to burn body fat is by fasting. No. But it does mean that when you are fasting, you are pulling energy stores from your fat, from your body fat. Okay, so let's do some math. And we know that weight gain is just a function of this energy equation. If it's balanced, if the calories in is equal to the calories out, then that means there's no change in weight. And we call that a caloric maintenance. Let's call our caloric maintenance 2,000 calories. And this number is just a number I pulled out of nowhere. For you, it's roughly about, for average, most people, it's about 2,000 calories. For you, it might be higher. For other people, it might be lower. I'll tell you in a second how we can go about estimating that. But for now, let's say you have 2,000 calories coming in, and through all these mechanisms laid out over here, we have 2,000 calories being burned in a given day. What does this look like for your body? It looks like you're not going to gain or lose any weight whatsoever. So you're not going to lose it, but you're not going to gain it. This is maintenance levels. Now, the proportion of where that energy goes in the body, either to body fat or to muscle, those can be tweaked a little bit. Those can be tweaked, but just for the basics right now, you either have it coming in or going out. And if they're the same, it's equal. So we're at maintenance, okay? So what happens now, if this number gets decreased, we eat less. This means we're in a calorie deficit. That's what this means, a deficit. And calorie deficit is going to burn body fat. Why is it going to burn body fat? Well, because it has to pull energy from somewhere. You're only eating this amount, and your body is burning this amount, which is higher than the amount that you're eating. So if it's burning 2,000 calories and it's only getting in 1,500 calories in that day, that means there's 500 calories that it's going to burn. It's going to take out from body fat to burn so that your body can function, okay? Now, in the same regard, let's bump this back up to 2,000. You're back at 2,000 calories consumed for a given day. What happens if you do some extra hard exercise, or you move more throughout the day, or your basal metabolism increases? Let's call this 2,500. So what happens here now? Well, the same thing. You're in a calorie deficit. Why? Because I'm eating 2,000 calories, but I'm burning 2,500. So that means, again, in the same regard, just from the equation, 500 calories is going to have to be pulled out from body fat stores to be used for energy, for you to function, for you to do stuff, okay? So you can either create a calorie deficit by increasing the amount that you burn in a day, or by lowering the amount that you eat. So, or a combination of both. So eat less, move more, and you lose weight. And when people say that, it sounds really cliche, really simple, like, oh, duh, like, why don't you give me, like, actual advice? But it is rooted in science. Like, that's all it can be. You eat less or move more. You burn more or eat less. That's all that can happen. And that's it. That's just what weight loss comes down to. It's just, are you burning more energy than you're consuming? Are you consuming more energy than you're burning? If you're consuming more energy than you are burning in a day, it has to get stored somewhere. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, just transferred or transformed. And in the body, it gets transformed into body fat. Hope you guys liked it. Catch you in the next one.